What if I told you that Google has an AI that's rewriting its own code, breaking 56-year-old math records and saving millions in energy costs? This isn't just science fiction. It's happening right now with AlphaEvolve, and the implications for your business could be massive. Have you ever wondered what happens when AI starts creating better algorithms than humans can? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how this technology is about to change everything from data centers to drug discoveries. I'm Evan Goldstein. I'm a licensed professional engineer and a data scientist. I'm creating AI Capitalists to talk to the leaders and the thinkers, like you, about navigating this brave new world of thinking machines. Meet AlphaEvolve, which is Google's new AI coding powerhouse that's not just writing code, it's discovering entirely new algorithms that human experts missed for decades. This Gemini-powered system isn't just building simple functions. It's crafting hundreds of lines of sophisticated code with complex logical structures that would make senior engineers sweat. Think of it as the difference between having an AI write you a recipe versus having it invest in an entirely new cuisine. Unlike its predecessor FunSearch, AlphaEvolve doesn't just tinker with individual functions, it evolves entire code base. This is like upgrading from editing a single paragraph to rewriting an entire book. Really, it's like learning and writing an entire new language to express that book in. The code base is all of the experience, all of the writing, the structures that people in the past have developed to make that code applicable. And now AlphaEvolve is just creating it from scratch. This leap in capability is massive, and it's already changing how Google approaches scientific challenges and everyday computing problems. Here's what's wild. AlphaEvolve has been silently optimizing Google from the inside over a year, and the results are staggering. One of its algorithms now powers Borg, Google's massive cluster management system. This isn't some minor tweak. It's actually recovering 0.7% of Google's worldwide computing resources continuously. Now, that might sound small until you realize that we're talking about Google's scale. It's like finding a way to recover millions of dollars that were previously just evaporating into thin air. The genius of AlphaEvolve's solution is how it tackles stranded resources, which are awkward situations where a machine has run out of memory, but it still has CPU to spare, or vice versa. Imagine having a car with a tank full of gas, but flat tires. It's useless, right? AlphaEvolve figured out how to make these partially depleted machines useful again. And it didn't just deliver a black box solution. It produced a clean, human-readable code that engineers can actually understand and modify. That's rare in the AI world, where solutions often come with no explanation at all. And AlphaEvolve didn't stop at software optimization, it's redesigned Google's hardware too. I identified unnecessary bits in a crucial arithmetic circuit for tensor processing units, which are TPUs. Those are Google's specialized AI chips. And this isn't even theoretical. TPU designers validated the change, and it's being implemented in an upcoming chip design. So it's like having an AI not just tell you how to drive your car better, but redesign the engine to make it more efficient. In another example of this recursive improvement, AlphaEvolve even optimized the systems that power itself. It improved a matrix multiplication kernel that's used to train Gemini models, which is essentially modifying its own brain, which achieved a 23% speed up for that operation, and it cut overall training time by about 1%. And for massive AI training operations that consume energy at industrial scales, that's huge. It's like an athlete figuring out how to make their heart pump more efficiently during workouts. Small change, big impact. AlphaEvolve isn't just making incremental improvements to existing systems, it's solving mathematical problems that have stumped the brightest human minds for decades. The system designed a novel gradient-based optimization procedure that discovered multiple new matrix multiplication algorithms, a record that's been standing since 1969. So imagine a mathematical technique remaining unbeaten since the moon landing, and now AI just casually surpassed it. The breakthrough allows two 4x4 complex valued matrices to be multiplied using 48 multiplications instead of 49, which is something that had eluded mathematicians since Volker Stossen's landmark work, in which back in 1969, where he originally figured the single operation reduction might seem trivial, but in the mathematical world, it's like breaking the 4-minute mile. And that's not an isolated achievement. AlphaEvolve improved the state-of-the-art over 14 different matrix multiplication algorithms. And AlphaEvolve's mathematical prowess has been shown to be effective far beyond just matrix multiplication. When it was pitted against 50 open problems that spanned mathematical analysis and geometry and combinatorics and number theory, it matched the best known solutions in about 75% of cases. What was even more impressive, in about 20% of the cases, it actually improved upon the best known solutions. So it's not AI keeping up with the class, it's an AI prodigy outperforming the professors. One striking victory came in problem, which is a centuries-old geometric challenge to determine how many non-overlapping unit spheres can simultaneously touch a central sphere. In 11 dimensions, AlphaEvolve found a configuration with 593 spheres, which broke the previous record of 592. So it's solving problems that have been on mathematicians' whiteboards for hundreds of years. What makes AlphaEvolve so different from other AI coding systems is its evolutionary approach. It's digital natural selection on steroids. The system uses both Gemini Flash for speed and Gemini Pro for depth to propose changes to existing code. These changes are then faced with a brutal fitness test via automated evaluators that score each variation. The winners survive to guide the next round of evolution. It's like breeding algorithms instead of just writing them. So what's the difference between this and the AI that we have now? Well, AlphaEvolve isn't just regurgitating patterns from its training data, it's actively exploring solution spaces, it's discovering novel approaches, and it's refining them through rigorous testing. Now, this creates solutions that humans might never conceive of, even with centuries of effort. So it's not just mimicking its human programmers, it's thinking, but in ways that we don't. Critical insight behind AlphaEvolve is its focus on problems with clear evaluators. For any proposed solution, it can automatically verify validity and measure quality. Now, this creates fast, reliable feedback loops in driving improvement. Think of it like having an instant and perfect judge for every idea that you generate with no human bias, no waiting for peer review, just immediate, objective feedback on what works best. Now, it's currently deployed within Google's infrastructure and mathematical research, but AlphaEvolve's potential extends far beyond. Google DeepMind sees applications in material sciences, drug discovery, and other fields that require complex algorithmic solutions. So the same system could explore sciences, succeed at drug discovery, and find other fuels or alternative fuels that require complex algorithmic solutions. It could discover new superconductors and antibiotics using the same system that's currently optimizing data centers. So the potential is huge. Now, Google DeepMind isn't keeping this tool locked away. They're developing a user interface with their people plus AI research team, and they're planning an early access program for selected academic researchers. So it's not just a Google toy. They're trying to position this as a collaborative tool for human-AI partnership across different scientific disciplines. Now, the system's flexibility is its biggest asset. Building a scientific tool that can immediately deliver real-world impact at Google scale is virtually unheard of. Most research tools take years to move from the lab to practical application, but AlphaEvolve is already saving resources and solving previously unsolvable problems. As large language models continue to advance, AlphaEvolve's capabilities are going to grow alongside them. What we're seeing is an intriguing evolution within AI itself. It starts within the digital confines of Google's servers, and it's optimizing the hardware and software that gives it life itself. And now it's reaching outward to solve problems that have challenged human intellect for decades or centuries. It's not just a tool anymore, it's more becoming a partner in scientific discovery. So let's talk about how AlphaFold is detonating feeds across the social media. What's the buzz? Well, on X, the tech optimism crowd is foaming at the mouth. This is their moon landing, the moment where Google's AI starts writing code that not only outpaces humans, but saves the company millions by optimizing data centers. So you've got some people who are spinning wild threads about the end of human programmers, and some are cheering it on as liberation from grunt work, with others who are sweating bullets about what happens to all those mid-level development jobs. Now, over on Reddit, skepticism reigns. Users are picking apart DeepMind's claims, and they're demanding hard numbers, and they're joking about the inevitable flood of buggy AI-generated code. The classic "AI will just optimize us out of existence" meme is making the rounds, but so is a more nuanced debate. What happens when the AI's evolutionary black box spits out a solution that no one can explain, but everyone has to trust because it just works? This has always been one of the issues with machine learning and then artificial intelligence. Now, over at LinkedIn, it's all just humble brag posts from tech execs calling this the new industrial revolution. But you can spot the subtext. Adapt or get steamrolled. So meanwhile on TikTok, creators are riffing on the AI boss concept, imagining office life where the only thing standing between you and the unemployment line is how well you can prompt Gemini. So the hot take is that AlphaEvolve isn't just a technical leap, it's a social powder keg. It's unleashing a wave of hype, anxiety, and heated argument about who's really in control and when the software is going to start evolving itself. Okay, so what's the AI capitalist approach to this story? Well, AlphaEvolve represents exactly the kind of AI advancement that drives real economic value, not theoretical fluff, but measurable efficiency gains that translate directly to the bottom line. 0.7% recovery of Google's computing resources might sound trivial until you realize that we're talking about one of the largest computing infrastructures on Earth. That's millions in savings from a single algorithm. So this is capitalism's innovation engine working precisely as it should to generate value. And if you feel that you're getting value from this episode, I'd appreciate it if you'd push the like button. Pressing like lets me know I'm making content you want to see, and it spreads that content to others. So thank you for supporting AI capitalists and helping us break out of small channel hell. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. From an epistemological perspective, what fascinates me is how AlphaEvolve demonstrates that knowledge creation doesn't require human consciousness. The system developed mathematical solutions that eluded humans for 56 years. It's not just about regurgitating data, it's genuinely exploring solution spaces and finding novel approaches. Now, this challenges our own anthropocentric bias about the nature of discovery and innovation. In terms of society, the implications are also pretty profound because Google has effectively created a perpetual efficiency machine that improves its own infrastructure, which then betters AI, and it creates a self-reinforcing cycle of competitive advantage. Now, this is how monopolies entrench themselves in the AI era, not through traditional market dominance, but through technological compounding that competitors just can't match without similar scale. From a technological assessment standpoint, AlphaEvolve is a crucial shift in AI development. Instead of building specialized systems for narrow problems like Alpha Tensor, they've created a general-purpose algorithm factory that can be pointed at any well-defined problem. So this could result in automated R&D departments that work 24/7 without vacation or healthcare costs or office politics. The teleological question is obviously what's the purpose of human engineers when AI can not only implement solutions but discover them, but also what happens when it's solving problems we didn't know that we had and is coming up with solutions that we could never understand but work. The engineers who thrive in this environment aren't going to be the best coders, but they're going to be the ones who can articulate what should be optimized and why. Now, I have to take one step back here because a lot of what the conversation in AI world has been up until now is looking for this launch point where AI can recursively improve itself. And, they call this the singularity, and there's some religious aspects to it, is that it's very much like a technological rapture, where the world is just never the same after as it was before. Or like Moses coming down the mountain with the tablets, right? Now, we've all seen the hockey stick graphs, but there's a little expression in data science, a trend is a friend until the bend at the end. So back 20 years ago, I was working for a company that was designing new wind turbines. Now, why were they doing that? Because installed wind power was doubling every 18 months. Now, if you followed that hockey stick curve where all of a sudden wind power became effective and there were all these government subsidies and wind was getting set up all over the world and we were all moving toward green technology, right? But if you followed that curve to the end, it would be like the entire known universe would be converted into wind turbines in about 100 years, which is obviously ridiculous. The hockey stick graphs tend to be more S graphs. They hit other barriers. So we're seeing this increase in intelligence, and intelligence is recursively repairing or improving itself. But there are going to be other barriers external to this, maybe some we don't even see yet. I mean, the most obvious is energy, infrastructure, materials, the things in the physical world. But there may be other barriers that just can't be overcome, and then we see a slowdown. I can almost guarantee you, I've seen these before, it's not going to go on forever and become a tech rapture. And speaking of physical barriers, we also have to remember that most of the improvements that AI is making are pure mathematical improvements or design improvements. AI can't actually carry out an experiment. So what makes science science is that you can actually run a test, a physical test in the real world, and then prove or disprove whether or not your theory is correct. So AlphaEvolve might come up with very interesting experiments and theories, but to actually prove or disprove them in the real world, outside of the sort of mind world of mathematics and coding and intelligence, it may be that humans will be the barrier, or robots, or something in the physical world that can actually put together the experiments to conduct them and carry them out. So what's your take? Is AlphaEvolve a harbinger of an AI-powered productivity miracle that will create unprecedented prosperity? Or is it the beginning of a techno-feudal system where algorithm owners reap the gains while the rest of us become irrelevant, redundant? Drop your thoughts below, especially if you're a software engineer whose job security just got a little more precarious.